Hey, boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
So I get hit on the most when I look wicked.
But this is me.
And I be like, brother.
I'm gonna tell you why.
What is happening?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I know what you look like now. So when you're I know your base. And I'm cool with your base. I'm good.
So that means I know I'm gonna be good when you. Okay, I got you.
Yes. That's a man thought. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what she looks like with nothing on. I'm good. Yes. She gonna look like that for the next 12 years. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy her. Makeup is for you, or the other women.
No, I agree with that.
The men don't want to see it. And I feel like on the.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome or welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network. Today, fellas, we're covering some more of the lies women just expect men to accept, while at the same time demanding from us men to keep it real. Talk about makeup, a concept that goes back to ancient Egypt, and women of that time realized that they could paint their faces certain colors to mimic being sexually aroused. The theory was the better they looked in that regard, the closer they would be to being selected as a wife and mother. Now, the problem when you fast forward to today is it's gotten out of hand in that this is an industry that's worth $511 billion a year, over $500 billion. To put that in perspective, if you combine the military defense budgets of India, the United Kingdom, Russia, France, and China all together, you would just barely be higher than that. Think about that for a second. We're talking about jets, aircraft carriers, nuclear warheads, tanks, and a field full of soldiers. And that's just barely scratching the surface of how much money women spend to transform themselves into much more attractive versions of themselves. The reason why I have an issue with this is because as a man, we're constantly told what we need to be bringing. We're constantly told what checklists we have to meet just to get entry into the door. The entire time we're told we need to spend our money, our energy, our attention, and our time, our meat, just for the privilege to go home with someone who don't even look like what we were introduced to when we met her, once she takes a washcloth and soap to her face. It's embarrassing. You add to the fact that the false eyelashes industry is a $1 billion a year industry. And when you consider Dunkin' Donuts, with all its 11,300 locations in 36 different countries, pulled in $1.4 billion, you got an idea what I'm talking about in terms of the scale. Not to mention fake contact lenses, they rack up over $800 million a year. And it's been said that the eyes are the windows to the soul. Men, you should know what crazy eyes are to identify them and disqualify them quickly. You know, a lot of things are being done here, fellas, at a very high rate of spending to transform these women who expect us to be 100% authentic while they present to us a fucking fairy tale. Classic case of rules for thee, but none for me. And it's messed up. Now, I don't personally have a problem with makeup in and of itself. I like a woman who applies lip gloss. That's real sexy to me. I don't mind a little, what's it called, eyeshadow. Okay, whatever. A little eyeliner. That's cool. But it's the moderation that I'm talking about. The problem is most of these women are straight up sorceresses when it comes to applying this stuff. Going from Shrek's little sister to outright Miss America with a few brushstrokes. It's insane. And then you meet her and you think who you're dealing with is that, and it's not that. And the problem you'll have is these women are putting industrial strength chemicals on their faces. They're using these industrial strength chemical products, which of course have their own side effects, both mentally and physically. Physically, they'll tear that girl's skin up, clog their pores, which causes acne, which they're probably using the makeup to cover the acne they had in the first place. This serves to compound the problem and make what was already bad even worse. And now they have to use even more makeup, which means that the cosmetics companies have now secured themselves lifelong customers. I mean, it's sinister, but pretty freaking genius at the same time. Mentally, this creates a disconnect between what the girl thinks she looks like and what kind of man she thinks she deserves as a result of an after picture from fake chemicals all over her face. Drywall spackle for humans, essentially. And so now you got women who are well past their expiration date, straight up catfishing younger men and men their own age and thinking that they're younger and more vibrant so they can keep pace with younger rivals. Not to mention the fact that it was younger girls back in high school, if you guys remember, who made themselves look like college freshmen when they were simply high school freshmen, which has gotten some men sent to prison because they didn't check the ID first. And see, this right here, this is a new threat you guys didn't have to worry about just 5 or 10 years ago that makeup enables. My one piece of advice for you in the rainbow community who are pulling this stunt, you better be careful, because this is the fastest way to have your family had to need a GoFundMe page to bury you, or you might just get yourself stomped out like you made of roaches. I think it's a raw deal for women to ask of men to be entirely honest with them when they present a fake face to the world. I mean, you don't really look like that. And sometimes these women will be approached by men who they think are beneath them, but the truth of the matter is, you can't call a guy ugly when you can't even go swimming or get caught out in the rain without your face being different after the rainstorm is over. Please be humble, or you will be humbled. As men, we have 3 very limited options. You can either A, lose body fat to slim out your jawline, B, manicure and take care of your facial hair, or C, have a great skincare routine. Then, of course, you have the women who use Botox and lip fillers, things of that nature. If the person who is applying this stuff to them knows what they're doing, it might be unnoticeable. But for a lot of women, this stuff takes them over. It becomes something close to an addiction. If you know a woman who's using these products, fellas, Juvederm, Botox, Restylane, you need to be as far away from them as possible, because they're cheating at the SMV. They're cheating their way up into a bracket of caliber of men they don't qualify for. As previously mentioned, makeup goes as far back as ancient Egypt. But the world has changed a great deal since the time of the pharaohs. Makeup is going from being crushed insect parts to chemical concoctions at factories to the point where we now, here in the 21st century, have electronic makeup called filters. And these things have gotten so advanced and so out of hand that France, for example, is thinking about putting in legislation to fine social media influencers who use them for financial gain. They're looking at quite possibly putting these women in jail for presenting a false face to the world, which I think that's hilarious if they pull it off. So, once again, fellas, be mindful, be careful, understand what makeup is. For the few ladies who watch my content, makeup is lying. You don't look like that. And we as men prefer you to look as close to your natural face as possible. We as men have a right to know what it is we're being asked to financially and emotionally invest in. We want to know if you've got skin conditions that may be passed on to our children so we can make the at-introduction decision to either A, proceed, or B, part ways. Now, I know women hate rejection, so they'll do anything they can to prevent being rejected, especially if it's by a man of high value. So I do get it. But at the exact same time, ladies, you have to understand, you need to know. If we're gonna be the ones asked to go all in, and in some cases put our lives in jeopardy because we've assigned ourselves to you, we had better be getting what we paid for. Because as you can see, if the chemicals you smear on your face can be smeared on a man's face and make him look like this, it's not a good deal for us. That said, that's my time. Like the video, comment down below, share with a friend, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Till next time.